Well, hello everybody, and welcome to November. October seemed to just breeze right by. At that was incredible how fast that went. But we are now in November, and we are getting ready for a month of Thanksgiving, a month of being grateful, a month of. I kind of hope that maybe this month will go by slow enough for you that you can enjoy the holiday season that is upon us. I really do hope that is what happens this month for everybody. For the month of November, I will be doing projects each week that will focus on a different suite or bundle from the mini catalog that will help you get ready for your Christmas cards. I will be making Christmas cards, simple, fun folds, um, gift card holders, gift tags, gift boxes or gift bags, treat boxes, any little ideas to help you spread some holiday cheer for the month of December. So I hope that you will join me for all 4 weeks. The first the first week I'm going to be focusing on the Sentimental Christmas Suite. The Sentimental Christmas Suite is the Make a Difference bundle for and as it says here, with each purchase of the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper, we will donate $3 to organizations dedicated to the future of children around the world. This one is going to be for children's literacy. So for every Designer Series paper bundle or suite that is sold, they will be donating the $3 to the Children's Literacy Foundation. So that is my first bundle that I am focusing on this week. I will show you where it is in the mini catalog if I can get there. It is on pages 28 and 29. And as you can see, it has some very fun paper. You've got the stamp set with the sentimental wishes and the dies that will cut out the stocking and the ribbon, the candles, and the holly. So you got some beautiful green ribbon that goes along with it, some pretty adhesive backed embellishments, and then of course the paper that has got some beautiful patterns in it. Here I'm showing you all the different colors that actually go along with this set, and then a little bit close-up version of the different papers. I love the candles. I think those are so pretty. And then we've got these were all hand drawn, and they're colored with the colored pencils. So I think that's what I love the most about this, is these were all hand drawn and then colored with the colored pencils. And you can really tell that in the beautiful graphics. So let's get started. The first card I am actually making is one from the catalog. Let me bring that back out here really quick. It is the first stack of cards. I went ahead and created that one because that is a very fun paper. I don't even know if I have a full page of it still now because I did cut it down, so I might not be able to show you what the full page looks like. Oh, I can. I didn't cut a full page. This is the full page of that. Isn't that so cute? I mean, this would make a great, I think this would make a great scrapbook page background. And then the other cool part is that you can cut it in, in thirds, and you can get some good corner pieces from it. So there's lots of possibilities with this. Like I said, I think it'd make a great scrapbook page, but it also makes good borders for cards. So that is what I did there with that. I used that as the corner for this card. So we will start with that. I went ahead and in its regular card size that I have cut to the 8.5 by 5.5 and then scored at the 4 1/4 line. So we'll get that folded in half. me take a drink real quick. Okay, we'll take our bone folder and get that edge good and burnished there. Okay. Now this is a card that is going to be opening up. So in there you can see how I did the inside. So we will go ahead and get that. And all I did was I just took a corner and I cut that piece at, it is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. So I just took that corner, cut it at 5 1/4 by 4, and we will go ahead and get that attached to the front of the card. And I'm going to go ahead and use my green glue to go ahead and attach it, since it's going to take up the whole front of that card. So we'll get that. And then I want to make sure that, now see, this one is the opposite corner. So you can put this any way you feel like. I do kind of like maybe this going, the pattern going down so that my sentiment is more in that opposite corner. So you can kind of see more of that pattern. I do like that as well. So we'll go ahead and get that put down. Now for the sentiment on the front, I just took a scrap piece of paper, and this one, it ends up being about 2.5 by 1 inch, but it was just a scrap piece of paper that I was hoping, or that I measured to make sure my sentiment would fit on, because I'm going to use the wishing you joy and happiness, and that fits really well on that sentiment there. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'm going to do this in the shaded spruce color, because I think that'll bring out the nice greens in the background of there. So we'll go ahead and get that stamped on there. I hope I'm not going to be in your view, but my head might come into view, so I make sure I'm kind of centered on that. There we go. That did actually very well. So let me clean my stamp off. Got my little chamois over here all ready to go, so I can get that stamp cleaned off. So we will get that. Now the card in the, get that closed before I stick my fingers in it. Stick my fingers or my wrist or whatever in there. The card in the catalog shows they used the brown for the background, and I kind of liked the candy, green peppermint candy one better, so that's one that I chose. So let me grab that from the bag. I'll be right back. Okay, this was just another scrap piece of paper that I have in the stash. This one, it measures about 3 by 1.5 inches, but it's just something that you want it to be bigger than your sentiment. So see how it's, the sentiment is kind of going in the top corner of it. So we want that, and I'm going to go ahead and just put that down. So I think I'll put it just about right there. And I'm going to go ahead and put it with glue, because I'm going to put it right there on the the base, the front of the card. So we'll get that put down. Okay. Now for the sentiment itself, I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. So let me grab those really quick. That looks like all I've got are my little dimensionals. So I will get those used up. And then I'm also going to put a piece of ribbon on the back. So let me grab my ribbon, which I thought I did grab it over here, but I'm not seeing it there. So I'll be back. Oh, it's right there. I was like, I knew I grabbed my ribbon. So this one, I'm just going to use just a little bit of ribbon. I'm going to kind of fold it over. But I want enough so that it's bigger than that back piece, but not by too much. So that'll do. And this ribbon, you kind of have to hold it. You have to hold both ends of it because it will move on you. Since it's kind of got like a mesh, if you try to cut it off without holding both ends, it'll kind of swerve on you. So you really need to hold it steady in your hand. And I'm going to put that behind the sentiment. So I'm going to do it just about like that. But I'm going to put it behind the sentiment and also pop it up. So see here, it looks like the sentiment is, the ribbon is laying flat on this decoration, but it's popped up behind the sentiment. So I'll go ahead and put my dimensionals down. And I'm going to have to see if I can find my other pack of bigger dimensionals, because I do like having the larger size for when I have bigger sentiments that I'm putting down. So we'll do that. Okay, also we'll put some here on the sides. I do want to be sure that ribbon is not going to move or make it move with make the sentiment move. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ribbon down on top of some adhesive. Like that. And I will put just a little bit underneath it too, just so that it sticks pretty well. Okay, and then we'll get our sentiment on top of it. Make sure I have all the little... Another thing I like about the bigger dimensionals is that you don't have as many little pieces to try to get off of there. So, and then we're going to put that just a little bit over. So there we go there. And then we'll apply, I'm going to use the silver. These are called Druzy Adhesive Backed Embellishments, and I'm going to use the silver color for it. I think on this piece the silver is just a better, it pops out a little better. So we'll do that and that. So there we go. And then on the inside, I'm just going to stamp the Let's Celebrate the Season. So we will get that in there. And I'm also going to do that in the shaded spruce. So I'll pop that up here in the top corner. Okay. Get that stamp all cleaned off of there. And then I did actually stamp the candles on there as well. I took another piece of that front that pattern that I used on the front. I actually used that on the inside as well. So let me grab that from my bag. Okay, let's see. Is this one going to be wide enough? Not exactly. Okay, let me grab the bigger piece. It's just like I said, this one is also going to be just a scrap piece of paper. So I will be right back with the scrap. Okay, I'm back with the scrap. I did want to be sure that the scrap was pretty good size, so it is at least 5 1/4. I did want it that. And then this one ended up being about 3/4 of an inch wide. So this one, I think that one was only like a 1/2 an inch wide. Yeah, but I did want that at least to be the 5 1/4. So a little bit thicker is fine. Just wanted to bring the outside to the inside. So we'll go ahead and glue this piece down as well. And just put this on the very bottom, kind of centering it in there. There we go. And I did get a little bit of glue over there on the side. That's okay. And then I also stamped the little candles over here on the corner. I stamped them in the pecan, but I might just stamp those in the in a green color as well. I kind of like the different greens that go with this are the shaded spruce, but I might do it in the old olive. I kind of like that as well, because I do want it to be just a little bit different. So we'll grab that old olive and we'll stamp that over there. Okay, and that was the pretty candles. I do like those pretty little candles. Let me make sure that I've got a good stamp. And then I'm just going to put that right above where I put that border. There we go. Yeah, I like that green. It's just kind of subtle. It's just kind of there. Okay, so there is the first card. Very simple, very quick. I just like that the paper makes a border all on its own, and then you can get the stamp or the envelope to go with it. we'll go ahead and I'm going to do that in the shaded spruce. And I'm using the very vanilla envelopes because I think they just go along a little bit better. The paper, the cardstock card background that I used was the basic beige. That's the color that goes with the suite. But there is no basic beige envelopes. But I thought that the very vanilla would go well with it. There we go. So very fast card. And I think that's something that I really like about this set is there's a lot of the background papers that you can just use them all on their own. You don't really need anything more with them. So there is our first card. So I will be right back with the next one. The next one is going to be a fun fold card. So I will be right back with that. Well, welcome back. This is the second project of the 4 weeks of homemade Christmas projects. So we are in week 1 and this is day 2. And this card is considered a fun fold card. From first glance, it looks like it's a regular card, but it actually has a Z opening. So it'll stand up really nicely on a mantle. It's a really pretty card. For this card, I used embossing powder for the sentiment because I used Pretty Peacock cardstock, and I'm still using the Sentimental Christmas DSP. So I wanted to be able to pop that sentiment out really well. So let's get started on making this card. The card starts with just a regular 8.5 by 5.5 card base, and you fold it in the same spot in the middle at the 4 1/4. And then to create that Z fold, we are actually going to score the front of the card. And the half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So all these little hash marks here, you can do 16ths, 8ths, and non. So 1/8 is this little mark here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/8 is a half. So 2 1/8 is where we're going to go ahead and score this. So we'll line that up on 2 1/8 and score that. Get our trimmer out of the way, and then you can just fold that piece in half. And so there you have the front of your card. Now, I did go ahead, looks like I did go ahead and cut a piece of the same cardstock down a little bit. So, because you could put the DSP directly on there, but I wanted a little bit of weight behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the DSP to this card base and then attach it to the front. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a frame. So I'll go ahead and get that attached, and I'll just use my glue. This piece, I wish that I had a full piece to show you guys before I glue that down. I enjoyed this DSP a lot. I don't have a full piece anymore, but this was the full piece. And then this that I cut down is kind of down in the bottom corner. It's a very beautiful full sheet of paper. And then the back. I love the back too, all those candles. So I'm kind of sad that I can't show you the full piece. It'd make a great scrapbook page. But I think this was my favorite sheet out of the whole DSP set. So let's go ahead and get that piece attached. And I will send out an email to the email subscribers on Saturday with the recipe card, and it'll give the measurements so that you'll know what the measurements are for these. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach this piece to here. Now see how you only need to do about half, a little bit less than half even. So I'm actually going to do this about here and use this as a guideline. My ruler down here is a guideline so that I don't get too much glue on there. Because then, like I said, we are just going to attach this to the front here. And it is kind of, it does kind of stagger a little bit. So there we go. I didn't get any on the inside. So there we go. Okay, now for the sentiment. I'm using this punch for the frame of the sentiment. So I will go ahead and punch that out before stamping it. That way I do stamp it in the center. And this punch was from the, I think it's labeled, let me look over here real quick. Oh, I'm not going to see it right off the bat. Yep, labeled with love. This stamp came, you can buy it all alone, but it is part of the labeled with love set. So let's go ahead and get that stamped. I'm going to use the Have a Merry Christmas stamp. See, well, there's wishing you joy. There we go. Have a very Merry Christmas. So we'll get that. Get the Versamark. I'm using the Versamark because that's what grabs the embossing ink powder. Okay, and then I will stamp my sentiment in the middle of that punch out. Okay. And then I will sprinkle the embossing powder on here, and then I will heat emboss it. So let's get that. And I'm using the bright white Wow embossing powder. So you just sprinkle that all over that. And then I just like to tap it off really good. Okay, I will get that back in its little cup there. And I will be over here on the side using my heat tool to emboss it. My tool won't reach all the way over here. So I will be right back. And I really do wish that I could show you guys how it changes. It's really fun to watch. But it is hard to see, but now that it's kind of shiny, it has a shine to it, and it also is puffed up a little bit. So I really do enjoy using the embossing powders. Okay, so I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. So let me grab those really quick. Okay. So got a brand new pack of dimensionals to get started with. So I will get the dimensionals on the back. Okay, And I'm also going to, in the dies from this, it's got some of these little sprigs. And so I just took, and from the different colors, the basic beige, the pecan pie, and the pretty peacock, I just punched out a couple of those little sprigs, and I'm going to use them on here as well. So I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue just to attach those two. And those I just kind of arranged. I didn't really have a plan so much with them. Just kind of put them on there, layering them. And then I will probably also put a dimensional over them as well to help kind of hold them in place so that they don't fall off of there. Okay. Like I said, just kind of putting them down there, really no rhyme or reason, just kind of, just a little bit of a peekaboo underneath there. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our backings off of the dimensionals, and then we will attach this to the front of the card. I'm going to attach it up about here. The other one I did a little bit lower, so maybe about there. So it's probably about middle of the card. Now I'm also going to attach some of the pretty pearls. These are the iridescent basic pearls. I think they're just so pretty, and they just go with so many cards. So, and these, you can use them just as they are, which is the white color, or you can even color them, as you can kind of see on my little package here. I colored some of them green for another project. Okay, and there is the front of our card. The other card I had a little bow, but this one I didn't use the same punch, so this doesn't have a hole there. And then for the inside, we are just going to take, this is the basic beige, just going to take it and glue it to the center. So I just want to make sure I get it in the very center there. I kind of want to make sure, see, I kind of want to make sure the front of that is covering it. So there we go. And then I took another piece of that and I cut it, and I'm going to put it over there on the side, just to bring the front of the card to the inside of the card. I like that carryover. I'm just going to attach that along the edge over here. Okay. And like I said, I used the Wink of Stella on those snowflakes, so I'll kind of show you that. It might be hard to see on camera, but the Wink of Stella, it just provides a little bit of a shimmer, and you just kind of paint it on. So it's really hard to see on camera, but once you get it on there, you can see a little bit of a shimmer. And yeah, I can't catch it on camera, but it is there. So just kind of do that where some of those snowflakes are. And then I even had one in here, so I'm going to go ahead and apply it in here. Okay. So there is that, and then this, if you want to, on the inside, you can use the Let's Celebrate the Season stamp. We'll do that. I didn't stamp a sentiment on the inside of the other card, but I do like to have a sentiment on there. So we will go ahead and do that real quick. So let's celebrate the season, and like I said, I'm using the Pretty Peacock paper. So we will use the Pretty Peacock ink. We'll get that inked up. Pop that down. And there we go. Get our stamp cleaned off. So there we have card number 2, and like I said, this one is a fun fold card. A little bit more to it, but still very simple, really. Doesn't take a lot to make it. So there we have card number 2, and I will be back with the third project. And I am back with the third project for the 4 weeks of homemade Christmas projects. This is week 1, day 3. This card was posted on Wednesday. Now I'm going to make a little bit of difference on this card when I make it, but this card is a gift card holder. So you create a little pocket on there to put your gift card in. But it is small enough that it can fit inside a regular gift card or a greeting card envelope. So we will get started making this, and I am using the same colors as I did the last one, and the same piece of paper actually, because like I said, this was my favorite. So it is the back side of that one from the last project. And I will, on Saturday, you'll receive an email that'll have all the dimensions. If you like these kits, you can use the host code to make a $45 or more purchase before tax and shipping, and I will send these kits to you. So the way this card starts, it starts as a regular, regular 11 size piece of paper, base, by 4 1/4. So a regular size card. We're going to score it down the middle there, and then we're going to score a section 1.5 inches in. So we'll go ahead and grab our trimmer, which with the score blade on it, or you can use your score pal, either one. So first off, we're going to score it at the 5 1/2, just like you would a regular card. Okay. And then we are going to score at the 1 1/2. Okay. So folds in half like regular. And then this, before I actually fold it in half, take any round punch that you have, take that and you're going to just cut a little notch or punch a little notch out. This is where you'll be able to grab your gift card. So just any size round punch that you have will work. Okay, and then we will fold that in. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. So let me get that glued down really quick. that edge burnish just a little bit more. Make sure it stays down pretty flat. And you don't need a lot of glue on the sides because you're just gonna glue the very edge. So you don't really need a lot of glue. So let's get that. Okay. Now if you want to, you can take one of your, and I got a little bit out on the sides, if you want to take one of your Stampin' Blocks to set on it so that it'll, either I take a stamp block or I'll take a stack of stamps to just set it on there, and that way it'll hold it while it glues and dries. Okay, and so we will work on the front of the card. So the front of the card, actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to work on the inside of the card. So for the inside of the card, I'm using the Very Vanilla, and I'm going to stamp on the edge. And since that one is dry, and I'll show you here, you kind of want to mark where you're gonna want to stamp. So I just take the card and I lay it out, and then with the pencil, so that I can erase it, I do make a light line of where I want my stamp to go. So I do that. And then we're going to be using the Holly stamp that's in the Sentimental Suite. And I'm going to stamp that in the Memento Black. And I'm going to stamp it twice, as I'm going to put it on there 2 times. So just get that inked up. Okay. And then, like I said, I just kind of look where that line is. Stamp it. And then I'm going to do it again at the top. I don't want to hit my camera like I usually do, but I'm going to bring that in a little bit and stamp it again. So there I have two of those, and I'm going to use my colored pencils to color them in. And you could use your blends, but I wanted to kind of follow the same look that is on the artwork. The artwork is done in colored pencil, so I wanted to follow that same style. So let me get that ink off of there really quick. One thing that I like about the glass mat, I can just wipe it off of there. Okay, so I'll show you really quickly how I started coloring it, and then through the magic of you can see I've already gotten one already done. But I used the colored pencils, I used the Granny Apple Green, and I did that on the leaves here. So you just color in the leaves. That's a really bright, beautiful green. And then I went over them with the Old Olive to just give them a little bit of depth, really. Just kind of, and I used the Old Olive on the main branch throughout there. And then for the berries, I used Real Red to start. Just color those berries in. And then to give them a little bit of depth too, I went with the Cherry Cobbler, and I just went along the edges of them. As you can see in the stamp, they have a little edge on them, so I just used the Cherry Cobbler to go over that. And then I did, and you don't have to do this, but I did with my basic gray, I kind of gave it a little bit of a shadow. I just went under some of those leaves on the side, and I gave it just a bit of a shadow. I like the look of how that turned out like that. So that's how you do it, and then that's how it turns out. So we've got that, and then we can stamp our sentiment on the inside, which for that sentiment I did "Have a very Merry Christmas." So we'll get that really quick. And since I'm using the Pretty Peacock, I will use the Pretty Peacock for the inside as well here. Like I said, this was one of my favorite papers from the set. So I used quite a bit of it, and I also used quite a bit of the Pretty Peacock paper. Nothing wrong with that. It's always best to use your favorites. So there we go. Got a little heavy-handed with my ink there, so I wanted to bring that down a little bit. So here we can just put that right there. Okay, so that is the inside of our card. Now we will make the outside. And this has been sitting long enough, I think. So for the outside of the card, and I will have to go in and do these pieces because I didn't get them done. I cut the pieces down, and like I said, I'll send out an email with the measurements so that they all fit on the front of this. And I'm going to go and really quickly, I'm going to run this through so that I can give it the plaid emboss folder, so I can give it a little bit of texture. And I used a different paper for the bottom. This is from the DSP packet, so it is the Pretty Peacock DSP, and I just thought that went with that a little bit better. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here, and then I will die cut it out. So we'll go ahead and stamp our sentiment on there. So this is going to be for someone special. So let's go ahead and get that stamped. Put it in just a bit since I'm going to be cutting it out. And then I took a piece of the gold foil paper, and that I used that punch from before. I used the gold foil paper, which is gold on the front, and I cut it out of that. So I just had just a sliver of a piece. So it just fits in there just enough. Okay. And that's going to be my back behind the sentiment. So I'll be right back. I will go get those cut out, and I'll be back. Okay, here we go. So I took that little piece and I embossed it using the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder, just to give it a little bit of texture since it's going on the front of there. Okay, and then I also, this beautiful Pretty Peacock came from the Regal's 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. So it has all the different colors, and I thought that went really well with this. So we will get these attached, and for the frame for this, for the sentiment, that came from the Greetings of the Season dies. So we'll get these all added to the front, and they just kind of center on there a little bit, so I just need to get them lined up so that they are okay on there. Okay, think I'll start with the big one. And I just really love those candles. I think they're so pretty. And it's not your typical green, red, and gold colors, I think, with it being the pretty peacock. But they still just look very beautiful together. So there we go with that. Then I'll add this one at the bottom. Get it lined up. Okay, and then put this one on the side. Almost threw that card right off of the table. Okay, there we go. Gives the card the card front just a little bit, you know. I like all the different textures and patterns, and I don't feel that they clash really. Now for this, I'm just going to go ahead and attach it with the adhesive and attach it to that bottom piece. Okay, I'm just going to kind of center it on there. It is going to overhang, and that's fine. Okay, and then we are going to attach these with dimensionals. So we'll get that put on there. Okay, so we'll get the backings off of the dimensionals. And we're going to stick this down in this corner here to kind of cover up that where they all meet. And then I am using the green pearl, or the gold pearls. Give me just 1 second, and I will be back with those. Okay, I am using the gold textured adhesive dots to go on the with the sentiment. So I'm just going to use all these same size dots. I feel I just like the looks of those better. So I'm going to cover up where that hole for the label is punched, and then just put the rest of them around. There we go. So there is that, and then we will get this attached to the inside, and that I'll go ahead and glue down. Kind of came a little bit short of the corners over there. And then we will just center this on the inside. Okay, and then like I said, now you've got a nice little pocket in there to put a gift card. And this will fit inside a regular envelope. For the envelope, I used the very vanilla envelope, and then I stamped the candles with the pretty peacock on the front. So there we go. There is the third project for the week. And I will be back showcasing the last project of the week, so stick around. And we are to our final project of the week. This one is a cute little gift bag using the DSP. And then I used the Greetings of the Season dies to cut different size tags for the front. So let's go ahead and get started making this one. Now I've made this bag a couple of times, so I do have a template that I have made that I just have on regular cardstock that shows me everywhere where I need to score it and how it needs to be cut. The paper itself needs to be 10.5 inches by 6 inches. So, and then you want to know the orientation for how you want the graphics to look. Like this one, I feel like it does need to be an up and a vertical orientation. It to me it seemed better for the bag, so that's what I made sure, is that when I cut this, the orientation will be up and down. See, like the trees in the back, you'd want, if you wanted to do the trees instead, you'd want to make sure that the trees were going the vertical instead of being cut at the horizontal. So I've already got the paper cut at the 10.5. Well, nope, I don't actually. This is the full sheet, so it's at 12 and at 6. I just took a sheet that I had cut in half. So we will go ahead and cut off that end. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and use my trimmer, and I had taken my trimmer blade off before because I didn't want to accidentally trim where I was actually wanting to score. So we will get this down to 10.5. Okay. So there we go. Now we have a nice little piece that we can use for another project. Now I am going to use my Score Pal to actually score the rest of it, because it's a lot easier to do it all at one time. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to score the bottom. And then this graphic doesn't really have a bottom, but if you wanted the trees, you'd want to make sure that you were scoring 1 inch on the bottom of the trees. So, but since this one really doesn't have an up or down, it doesn't matter where you score it. So we will go ahead and score this at 1 inch. So you just want to go semi-slow. Another reason I'm using my Score Pal, or sorry, Simply Scored instead of the trimmer, the score blade on the trimmer, is because it I put too much pressure a lot when I use the DSP, and it'll just slice right through the DSP. This, I can control it, and it actually doesn't go through as much. So that's one reason why I do it. Okay, now we're going to make our first one at 1/2 inch. So just kind of slowly go down all the way. Then the next one is at 1 inch. Another nice thing about the Simply Scored is that it does have little markers that you can put up if you're going to do a lot of these. You don't want to have to remember all of the score marks. You can just go ahead and put those markers up there, and that'll tell you. The next one is at 5.5. But you do want to go kind of slow so that you don't skip. Then we're at 6. And then our last one is at 6.5. So if you go too fast, it'll gutter ball. It'll go over to the next lane. And you don't want that. So we'll go ahead and put those. And then you want to take your snips, and you're going to cut the bottom. See how I have the bottom here? So on the very end where you scored at the 1/2 inch mark, what you're going to be doing is these are your gussets. Where the inch mark was, that's going to be your side gusset. So you really don't need this piece on the end because it's going to just be tucked in. And you're going to need, you kind of want to angle the edges so that they do tuck under really nice. I might have to go get my glasses so that I can see where I'm at. Okay, so we'll do that. And then here we have our other one. We're going to just make a, maybe I can see it better on this side, I can. We're going to make another little triangle cut here. Like I said, all this, what this does is it makes the bag easier to put together. Okay, and then we're going to do the same here. We're going to make a triangle cut. Because this is the gusset from the other side of the bag. So there we go. And then on this edge too. Okay, and then on the very end, we're just going to make a slight angle cut. So there we go. Now we can put our bag together. Oh, it's like, what did I throw off of there? I just threw off a piece of the extra piece that I had cut off. Okay, now this is the gusset, and I'm just going to do the top. I don't want to do it all the way at the bottom because I don't want that piece folded in. So then we have this. And again, I just want to do the top of that gusset and then the very edge of the bag where I'm going to glue or tape. And like, you can glue or tape the edge of the bag, whichever works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and glue it. I think it holds it a little bit better. So just making sure that I don't glue over the edges. Okay. So then we'll put the bag together. You're just going to line up that edge, the top and the edge, so that you have a nice seam there on the side. Okay. And for the bottom, you can, again, you can glue or tape. I'm going to go ahead and glue it, and then I will put either a punch or a stamping block in there to kind of hold it down, hold it in place. You just want it to be squared up a little bit, kind of hold its shape. There we go. I keep hitting my camera, so sorry about that. And like I said, I will take one of my blocks. I've got the bigger block, and I'm going to put that in there to kind of hold it in place. So there we go. I'll have that just kind of sit over here on the side. Now for the tag part there, I took the real red And like I said, I used the Greetings of the Season dies for the tags. I used this big one for the red that I'm going to put in the back, and then I used some of the holiday shimmer paper, and I used that shape, so that's going to kind of go over, and then I used this oval one, which is going to hold a sentiment, and that's going to go on top. And I'm going to have them being held together by string, but I will go ahead and stamp the sentiment on there. Also, what I did was I stamped over this as well in the real red. I stamped it so that it gave it a little bit of a contrast besides just being plain paper. So we will go ahead and get the real red stamped onto there. And for this I just kind of stamped it in a couple places. No real pattern. There. So just to give it, so it's wasn't just a plain piece of cardstock. And that I used the holly leaves. So get that stamp cleaned off of there. Okay, get the red cleaned off of there. Okay, and then for the sentiment, I'm going to do that in the shaded spruce color on just a piece of white cardstock. And I did it at a bit of an angle. I didn't do it right on like that. I kind of turned it a bit, and then I'm going to center it. There we go. Okay. And then something else that I did just to kind of blend the card in the piece in a little bit, I just went around the edges with the green. It's not a big difference, but it does make it kind of blend in a little bit with that's behind it. Okay, so to tie them together, I used, kind of getting down to my last little bit of this baker's twine, and I did it in the white. That color seemed best to me. You could maybe, there is a gold ribbon in the catalog that might be fun too. I just don't have it. It is this here. It comes in silver and gold pack, and it is called Gold and Silver Trim Combo Pack. So that might be a fun one to do as well. I think I might see if I can get that. And so what I did was I just tied them all together. Make sure that got a really solid end so that it will go through those holes without catching. Helps if you line them up better too. So then I'm just going to tie a regular bow to tie them there together. So there we go, just a regular loopy bow. And you could, if you wanted to, you could tie it like a double bow, double loopy bow, however you want. And for that, I am going to, I'm going to pop it up on the bag with the dimensionals. So we will get these around it. one more in the middle that already came off of there. Okay. Get the backs off of those dimensionals so we can attach them to the front of the bag. And there's different ways, like I'm doing here. You can attach it to the bag, you could tie it to the bag, whichever way you like best. I do like the look of it being just kind of hanging out in the middle there. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and leave my block in there to give me a solid surface. So I'll just kind of center that on the front and then press it around. So there we go. Now I did, remember how I was telling you that you can color the pearls, and I did do that for this project. I'm using the shaded spruce, the dark shaded spruce from the blends, and I colored in a couple of the pearls here, just to give it, because since that's a white piece of cardstock, I wanted the pearls to stick out a little bit. So that's something fun that you can do with these iridescent pearls. Okay, so just kind of put them on there. Now you can leave the bag as is, like I've got here, and you could give that. You could pinch it closed with a little clip. I use some of the ribbon that comes with this set, and it is the satin and sheer ribbon, and it is in the shaded spruce color. And then I have a little slotted hole punch, and that's what I used to tie it. So I just took that hole punch, and if you've got a regular hole punch, you could use that. I actually don't have a regular hole punch. I thought I did, but I cannot find it. So I just used that, and then I took the ribbon, and you kind of want to maybe fold it up a little bit to get it started through there. It doesn't like to go on its own. I might even have to cut it at a straight so it's not angled. There we go. And so this, you can just tie it like that and then cut it off, and then your package is closed. So it's however you want to close them. Some people have even taken the ribbon and done it like a belly band kind of style to hold it closed. And then on another bag that I did, I punched 2 holes, and I used it as handles. So whichever way you like, that's the way you go. And like I said, with this ribbon, you want to hold it solid with both fingers, or else it won't give you a straight cut. It likes to curve on you. So there we go. There is our pretty little gift bag. So that is all of the projects from this week. I hope that you enjoyed making them with me. They were a lot of fun to make. And you can kind of use the same card the same envelope for all the cards if you wanted to. They do go very well together. It's kind of hard to get them all in the picture. So we'll try to do it this way. There we go. So that is all 4 projects from this week. I will be back next week, and next week I will be using the Christmas labels and the um, either be I'll either be using the Christmas labels, or I will be using the frozen edges and one of a kind. Um, sorry, bundles. So I think these really go well together, I feel. So this is the one that I'll be using next week, and I will be using a collection of the paper from the sets. So stick around with me next week, and thank you for being here. I will be listing the host code in the when I post each card. I'll list the host code so that you'll know which one to use when you want to order the kits for this. Thank you for sticking with me this week. Happy November.